Hello guys, and we're back. We have this interesting deck build for standard today. We're going to explore this version of the tribal humans, or the human tribe. For this build, we call this one as the Jeskai Trigger Aggro, in which I found this list from the pile of Aggro archetypes from MTG Top 8 website. And so we're going to check why it's called as such. I previously discussed that we had Naya humans as our deck choice, or we've assumed that it would be a top tier deck in the format with the lowest coverage of Ixalan. But this time we're going to see our other options in having this one with blue. And why we've named this one as a trigger, because of this namesake card from this new set, the Roaming Throne. Wherein you can just choose a human as a creature type and then trigger the ability of creatures, other creatures you control. Out of the chosen type triggers, it will trigger an additional time. So this would benefit almost all of these creatures in this lineup. So we're going to check one by one the choices. So first up is 4 copies of Lord Veteran. So this is just more of a life gain effect. When another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Much more if there's a throne in play, you would gain an additional 1 life, which means 2 times trigger for this one. And also you can have this option for devote, which it becomes a luminous phantom when disturbed for this setup. In another creature you control leaves the battlefield, you will gain 1 life. So with that setup, we have also added Warden of the Inner Sky with this ability that becomes bigger with a +1 counter whenever you tap 3 untap artifacts and or creatures you control, but only using this one as a sorcery speed with also a free Sky 1. As long as you control 3 or more counters added on Warden of the Inner Sky, it will have flying and vigilance, so another good threat in the late game. We've also added Charming Scoundrel. This would also one of the beneficiaries of the throne, wherein when it enters the battlefield you can choose 1. So with that additional trigger, you can choose 2 basically. You can draw a card, discard a card, create treasure tokens, and make a wicked counter attached to attack a creature you control. At any time you can have variants of triggers that you can basically get the good advantage of. With that, we also added 4 copies of Resolute Reinforcements. This will produce an additional 1/1 white creature soldier creature token, but with the throne in play it will produce 2 instead of 1 at any time because of the flash ability. Then we also added 4 copies of Ether Channeler. So this would also be of the utility creature that benefit with the throne. When enters the battlefield, you can create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying. You turn another target non-permanent to return hand and then draw a card. Or either battle choices, you would still benefit once with the throne in play. And also we've considered 4 copies of Immediate Recruiter because of its ability that you can have your creatures you control +0 gain haste. At any instance, if the game goes grindy in the long game, you can train troops for the adventure by creating 2 white creature knight creature tokens with vigilance. But the most part is that you can have this one trigger with +0 and get them haste. Much more if you have already casting Geological Appraiser, for instance, because it will cast it and there's a battlefield, you will discover 3, wherein you can basically have this one as one of the options if you would be able to rebuild this from the top of your library. So with that setup, we've also added 1 copy of Kitesail Illusionist. This is more just of disabling a target artifact or creature or player controls for as long as that your Illusionist remains on the battlefield. The chosen permanents become a treasure artifact of this ability that becomes a treasure, wherein you can sacrifice this one and add 1 mana of any color and losing all other abilities. So this would be really relevant in disabling any threats from your opponent, as well as you get also a 2/3 flying and ward creature. Now for the Bracer, this goes with the 4-drop in the curve, and also the benefit of when you cast it, you will discover 3. And much more with the throne in play, you would also have discover 3 twice. So that's a very good advantage per se, having also a good body in the battlefield as added to your board. And also we have 4 copies of Knight Errant of Eos. This can also be used to convoke. You can see here a lot of 1-drops and 2-drops in deck, which means that you can have this one later on convoke to the Knight Errant of Eos. And also with the throne in play, it would enter with twice of it trigger by looking at the top 6 cards, or library and revealing up to 2 creature cards. So more benefit, more added card advantage, more advantage to your setup. Now you can check that basically you have 36 creatures and only 24 lands, no other spells, but we can have more of these in sideboard, which we're going to discuss in a while. For the choices of lands, since these are Jeskai colors, we got also some good fix with the 4 copies of Cavern of Souls to make sure our humans resolve. 4 copies of Good Courtyard were also added as a good fix for the humans because we can choose also creature type, as well as other setup here with the Seacrom Coast. Also we added Battlefield Forge for red-white, some channel lands, Iganjo, Otawara, and Suken Sun for red. Also added copies of Manlands and Relentless Anchorage and Relentless Bivouac, as well as basic lands, and the relevant non-land here would also 4 copies of Murex wherein this Murex would also get you to produce 1/1 colorless Correction Might Alpha creature token in the late game. So that with the setup in the main deck, we see our sideboard choices in the build. So with any mid-range or control matchup, you would board in 4 copies of Invasion of Gobakan. This card would also delay or look at the hand of your opponent and make sure that you would know his or her succeeding plays, and exile any non-land permanent that unland card that means that will be relevant in his next turn or next 2 turns, and delay it by having it cost 2 more. And also if this would be attack, you can benefit this one into a red shield array wherein you can have to also put some counters on its creature that attack this turn, and also sacrifice this to protect your creatures for hexproof and it's suitable until end of turn. So with that setup, we also added 2 copies of Elspeth's Might, maybe for other aggro decks, especially mono red. This can basically kill off with a 3 damage to target attacking or blocking creature and would be exiled. We have also a few choices of one of Seer. We have Zerina, Dauntless General, for exiling graveyards and having also to control hexproof with the circle ball. We have a copy of Scheming Fence that can choose unland permanent and activated abilities. Those permanent can be activated. And then a copy of Sorcerer's Spyglass, which I think would also work with the Scheming Fence, to check on your opponent's hand and then choosing any card name, wherein the activated abilities of sources of the chosen name can be activated, unless there are, of course, mana abilities. With that, we also added the sideboard for Anointed Peacekeeper for mid-range control, the same similar with the Invasion of Gobakan. And we have 1 Brutal Qatar for any aggro matchup that can also be exiled. And the additional Cancellation is also that can help with that route of denying the best creature from your opponent, making them into a treasure. We've also learned of the third path to destroy and disenchant effect any target artifact or enchantment, and then having also a card draw effect. And for the other or last 2 card for the sideboard is Denic, which can also protect your graveyards, and also good source of lifelink, and also with the Disturb ability that whenever 1 or more creature cards are placed in your graveyards from anywhere, you will investigate and having a clue token to draw 4 card draws, which would only trigger once in this deck. Then for the colors of this, we have a good distribution for red, white, and blue. Surprisingly, we also added black and green here because of the mana of any color produced by that of the Secluded Courtyard and Cavern of Souls. And then the color distribution is mostly white, with red as its second color and blue as its third color. Average mana value is 2.75 with a lot of casting cost in 2 drops and 3 drops, as well as late game you can also suffice with your curve. And last but not least, we are surprisingly having 9 tokens in the deck. We have a Bird token, Clue token, Knight token with a 2/2 Vigilance, a Map token, a Perfection Might token, a Soldier token, Spirit token for the Suken Sun, Treasure token, and a Wicked Roll token produced by the Charming Scoundrel. So I guess that's pretty much it for this deck. If you're into the Humans Tribal strategy for Standard, I would suggest that you can go with this build. It's quite interesting with the Jeskai trigger aggro route, which can generate a lot of board advantage and card advantage, as well as may somewhat overwhelm your opponents with this heavy curve of your creatures. So that's pretty much it for this deck tech. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We can have also a good discussion in the comments below. If you like, just comment below what would be your inputs or other ideas that you would like to share for this kind of deck archetype for standard. Again guys, thank you for checking this video. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.